The city lights blurred, a watercolor smear against the rain-streaked window of John's car. Sarah, curled into the passenger seat, watched them fade into the distance, her hand resting lightly on his thigh. The quiet hum of the engine, the rhythmic swipe of the wipers, it all felt like a cocoon, isolating them from the world. A world where their life together had once been an unwavering constant, now a fragile thing, perpetually on the verge of shattering. Another late one at the office, huh? Her voice soft, barely cut through the sound of the rain. John's grip tightened on the steering wheel, knuckles white. The Harrison account. It's a beast. You know how it is. He didn't meet her gaze, his eyes fixed on the road ahead, or perhaps beyond it. A familiar knot tightened in Sarah's stomach. She knew how it was, or she thought she did. Lately, the Harrison account seemed to demand more of him than she did. More than their shared dinners, more than their quiet evenings, more than the future they had meticulously planned. I made your favorite, she offered, a desperate olive branch. Lamb stew, slow-cooked all day. A sigh escaped him, heavy, almost imperceptible. Sounds great, love. Just not tonight. I grabbed something at the office. Didn't want to keep you waiting. The knot cinched tighter. He always said he didn't want to keep her waiting, yet she always waited. Waited for texts that came hours later, for calls that never materialized. For the man who used to rush home, eager to share every detail of his day. Now his days felt like a locked box. She pulled her hand from his thigh, resting it on her own knee. Oh. Okay, no problem. The words felt hollow, like dry leaves skittering across pavement. The car pulled into their driveway, the headlights cutting through the gloom, illuminating the familiar porch swing, the potted petunias. A place that once hummed with shared laughter, now echoed with unspoken questions. John killed the engine, plunging them into near silence, save for the patter of rain. He didn't move. Is everything all right, John? Her voice trembled, a tiny fissure opening in her carefully constructed composure. He turned then, finally, his eyes dark, unreadable. Of course, Sarah, why wouldn't it be? He forced a smile, a brittle thing that didn't reach his eyes. Long week, that's all. She wanted to believe him. She truly did. But the scent clinging to his shirt, faint, unfamiliar, didn't smell like office fluorescent lights or stale coffee. It was something sweet, floral, a perfume she didn't wear. The following weeks bled into a monotonous pattern of John's late nights and Sarah's silent anxiety. The lamb stew grew cold more often than not. The bed felt vast, empty, even with him beside her, his back often turned. One Saturday morning, the sun streamed through their bedroom window, a stark contrast to the gloom that had settled in Sarah's heart. John was in the shower, the water drumming against the tiles. His phone lay on the nightstand, screen face down. A tremor ran through her. She knew it was wrong. But the gnawing suspicion, the scent of a phantom perfume, the distant look in his eyes, it had become a physical ache. Her fingers, almost independent of her will, reached for the device. She flipped it over. The screen lit up, a notification glowing brightly. An unsaved number, a text message. Can't wait for tonight, missing you already, Jay. Her breath hitched. The air left her lungs in a whoosh. The room spun. Jay. It could be anyone, she told herself, a desperate whisper of denial. But the tremor in her hands, the cold dread spreading through her veins, knew better. John would be out any second. Panic seized her. She dropped the phone back onto the nightstand, face down, exactly as she found it. Her heart hammered against her ribs, a frantic drum. He walked out of the bathroom, a towel wrapped around his waist, steam clinging to his skin. He looked at her, a faint smile playing on his lips. Morning, sleepyhead. Coffee's on. She managed a weak smile in return, her voice caught in her throat. Morning. The next few days were a blur of forced normalcy. Sarah moved through her routine like a ghost, the text message a burning brand on her mind. She watched John, analyzing every gesture, every glance, every innocuous word. His easy laughter with colleagues on a video call, his absent-minded hum while making breakfast. They all felt like a performance, a cruel charade. She needed to know. The uncertainty was a torment worse than any truth. One evening, John announced he had to work late again. "Big presentation tomorrow. Need to finalize the slides." "Of course," she replied, her voice flat. "Don't overdo it." He kissed her forehead, a fleeting touch. The moment the door clicked shut, the silence in the apartment pressed in on her. She waited 10 minutes, then 20. Her hands trembled as she grabbed her car keys. She knew where his office was. She'd driven him there countless times. The drive was a haze. Her grip on the steering wheel was tight, her knuckles white. The rain had started again, a fine drizzle that blurred the city lights. She pulled up a block from his office building, parking under the shadow of a towering oak. She waited. An hour crawled by, then another. The clock on their dashboard glowed, mocking her. Doubt began to creep in. Maybe she was just being paranoid, driven by insecurity. Just as she was about to give up, to drive home and pretend this never happened, she saw it. The glass doors of his office building swung open. John emerged, not alone. A woman walked beside him, her arm linked casually through his, her hair a vibrant red, cascaded over her shoulders. She laughed, a bright, clear sound that carried even through the closed windows of Sarah's car. John's head was tilted towards her, a smile on his face, a smile Sarah hadn't seen directed at her in months. He opened the passenger door of a sleek black car. He walked around to the driver's side, and as he got in, his hand lingered for a moment on her arm, a tender, possessive gesture. The car pulled away, disappearing into the rainy night. Sarah sat there, frozen. The world outside her car, once a blur, now sharpened into agonizing detail. The rain, each drop hitting the windshield, sounded like 1,000 tiny needles. The ache in her chest intensified, blossoming into a searing pain that stole her breath. He lied. He cheated. The words echoed in her mind. Cold, stark, undeniable. She drove home, the journey a blur of tears and choked sobs. The apartment, once a sanctuary, now felt like a tomb. She wandered through the rooms, touching familiar objects, a framed photo of their wedding day, a ceramic mug he'd bought her on their first anniversary, the worn armchair where they used to read together. Each object now felt tainted, a monument to a love that was, apparently, a lie. She didn't know what time he came home. She heard the soft click of the door, his quiet movements in the hallway. She lay in bed, feigning sleep, her body rigid, her eyes burning. He slipped in beside her, the familiar scent of his skin now mingled with that same sweet floral perfume. The next morning, the air in their apartment felt thick, suffocating. John, oblivious, hummed a tune while making coffee. "Morning, love," he said, placing a mug in front of her. "Slept well?" Sarah looked at him, truly looked at him. The man she loved, the man she had built a life with, sat across from her, his eyes guileless, his smile easy, a monster of deception. "No, John," she said, her voice a whisper, yet it felt like a shout in the stillness. "I didn't." He paused, the spoon clinking against his mug. "Oh, everything all right?" She pushed her chair back, the scrape a harsh sound. "No, John, nothing is all right." She stood, walking to the window, staring out at the budding spring garden, a cruel mockery of renewal. "Who is she?" The silence that followed was deafening. John's movements stilled. The clinking stopped. "Who is who, Sarah?" His voice was calm, too calm. She turned, her eyes blazing. "Don't play dumb with me, John. The woman, the one you were with last night, the one whose perfume I can smell on you right now." His face, usually so open to her, became a mask. "I don't know what you're talking about. Don't you?" Her voice rose, cracking with the effort to control it. "I saw you, John, leaving your office, her arm linked in yours, getting into a black car. You kissed her hand. Don't you dare lie to me." He stood up, slowly, his hands clenching at his sides. The mask began to slip, revealing a flicker of fear, then anger. "You followed me. I needed to know," she choked out, tears finally spilling down her cheeks. "I needed to know why you've been so distant, so absent, why you smell like a stranger." The words were automatic, a desperate reflex. It's not what you think. The words were automatic, a desperate reflex. Isn't it? She laughed, a bitter, broken sound. Then tell me, John, what is it? Is she a new client? A late-night business partner who just happens to wear a scent that clings to you and makes you smile in a way you haven't smiled at me in months? He ran a hand through his hair, his eyes darting around the room, avoiding hers. Sarah, please, let's talk about this calmly. Calmly? Her voice was shrill. You want to talk calmly? You've been lying to me, John, for weeks, months. While I was making your favorite stew, while I was waiting up for you, while I was wondering what I did wrong. You didn't do anything wrong, he muttered, finally meeting her gaze, his own filled with a tormented regret. Then what did you do, John? She stepped closer, her voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. Tell me, her name, what she means to you, everything. He swallowed hard, his Adam's apple bobbing. Her name is Chloe. She's a new hire. In marketing. A new hire, Sarah repeated, the words tasting like ash. And you're training her? Mentoring her? Is that what this is? His shoulders slumped. The fight drained out of him, leaving behind a hollow shell. We became close. It just happened. It just happened? She stared at him, disbelief warring with a profound sense of betrayal. Do you hear yourself? Is that what you tell yourself to sleep at night? That it just happened while you were building a life with me? He finally looked at her, his eyes brimming. I messed up, Sarah. God, I messed up. I know I did. You didn't just mess up, John. You broke something. Something vital. She gestured wildly around their living room. Everything we built. You shattered it. He took a step towards her, his hand reaching out. Don't say that. We can fix this. We have to. She recoiled. Fix this? How do you fix a foundation that's crumbled? How do you fix trust that's been systematically demolished? Her voice was flat now, devoid of emotion, a chilling contrast to her earlier outburst. When did it start? He hesitated, his gaze falling to the floor. A few months ago, after the Harrison account started getting really intense, she was on the team. We spent a lot of time together. A few months, she repeated, the timeline stretching, twisting the knife deeper. So all those late nights, all those excuses, they were lies, every single one. He nodded, a single agonizing jerk of his head. I'm so sorry, Sarah. I never meant to hurt you. No, she said, a bitter laugh escaping her. You just meant to have your cake and eat it too, didn't you? You wanted the comfort of home, the security of our life, and the thrill of something new on the side. It wasn't like that, he protested, his voice hoarse. It was complicated. Complicated? She scoffed. No, John. It's simple. You made a choice. You chose her. You chose to betray me. Her gaze hardened. What now? Is she going to move in? Are you going to tell her about the mortgage, about the leaky faucet, about my terrible singing in the shower? He flinched. Stop it, Sarah. Please. This isn't fair. Fair? She advanced on him, her voice rising again. You want to talk about fair? Is it fair that I've been living a lie? Is it fair that I've been wondering if I was enough, if I was losing my mind, while you were out building a secret life? I was going to tell you, he insisted, his voice desperate. I didn't know how. Oh, I bet, she scoffed. You were going to tell me when, after you'd decided which one of us you preferred, after you'd perfected your exit strategy? She shook her head, a profound weariness settling over her. I don't even know who you are anymore. He reached for her again, his hand brushing her arm. Don't say that. I'm still me. I'm still the man who loves you. She pulled away sharply. No, John. The man who loves me doesn't do this. The man who loves me doesn't lie to me, doesn't sneak around, doesn't make me feel like a fool. Her voice broke. He closed his eyes, a single tear tracing a path down his cheek. I know. And I'll spend the rest of my life trying to fix it. Just give me a chance, Sarah, please. She looked at his tear-streaked face, a face she had once found so dear, so trustworthy. Now it was just a testament to his deceit. The pain was too raw, too deep. A chance, she whispered, her voice barely audible. You had your chance, John. You had every chance, and you threw it all away. She walked to the front door, her hands fumbling with the lock. I can't look at you right now. I can't be in this house. Not with you. Where are you going? His voice was laced with panic. She pulled the door open, the cool morning air a sharp contrast to the heat of her anger. Away, just away. She didn't look back. The door clicked shut behind her, a final echoing sound in the stillness of the apartment. The days that followed were a blur of numb existence for Sarah. She stayed with her sister, Clara, who offered a quiet, comforting presence without probing too deeply. Sarah's phone buzzed constantly with John's texts and calls, each one a fresh stab of pain. The thought of his voice, his apologies, his desperate pleas, only amplified the betrayal. One evening, Clara found Sarah staring blankly at a half-eaten plate of food. "You have to eat, honey," Clara said gently, sitting beside her. "You're wasting away." Sarah pushed the plate away. "I can't. Everything tastes like ash." "He's called again," Clara said, her voice soft. "He sounds desperate." "Good," Sarah replied, her voice devoid of emotion. "He deserves to be." Clara sighed. "I know you're hurting, Sarah, but you can't just shut down. You have to decide what you're going to do." "What is there to decide?" Sarah finally looked at her sister, her eyes hollow. "He cheated. He lied. He broke everything." "People make mistakes, Sarah," Clara said, her gaze steady. "Terrible, unforgivable mistakes. But sometimes there's a way back, if both people are willing to fight for it." "Fight for what, Clara?" Sarah's voice was sharp. "A relationship built on a foundation of lies? A trust that's been shattered beyond repair?" "For the years you had," Clara countered. "For the love you shared. For the future you imagined." She paused. "Do you still love him, Sarah?" The question hung in the air, heavy, suffocating. Sarah closed her eyes. The image of John's face, contorted in regret, flashed before her. The memories of their shared laughter, their quiet moments, their dreams, flooded her mind. The love was still there, a stubborn, aching presence beneath the anger and the pain. And that was the cruelest part. "I don't know," she whispered, the confession tearing at her. I don't know." A week later, John showed up at Clara's apartment. Sarah, seeing him through the peephole, felt a jolt of something she couldn't quite name. Fear, anger, a flicker of something dangerously close to hope. Clara opened the door, her expression stern. "She doesn't want to see you, John." "Please, Clara," John pleaded, his voice raspy. He looked haggard, unshaven, his eyes bloodshot. "Just 5 minutes. I need to talk to her." Sarah, standing just out of sight, felt her resolve waver. 5 minutes. What could 5 minutes hurt? Or perhaps, what could it heal? She stepped into the hallway. John's eyes, when they met hers, held a desperate plea. "Sarah," he breathed, his voice thick with emotion. "What do you want, John?" Her voice was cold, a shield against the torrent of feelings threatening to overwhelm her. "I want to explain. I want to apologize. I want to beg for your forgiveness." He took a step closer, his hands clasped in front of him. "I've been a fool. I threw away the most precious thing in my life for nothing." "Nothing?" She scoffed. "She seemed like a lot more than nothing to you a week ago." He flinched. "She was a distraction, a terrible, selfish mistake. I ended it, Sarah. The moment you left, I ended it. I told her it was over, that it was you I loved, that it was always you. Easy to say now, isn't it?" She crossed her arms, her gaze unwavering. "After you've been caught, after you've realized the consequences, I know you don't believe me," he said, his voice cracking. "But I swear to you, Sarah, I've been living in hell. Every moment without you is torture. I see you everywhere. I hear your laugh. This house," he gestured vaguely, "it's empty without you." "It's empty because you emptied it," she retorted, the anger resurfacing. "You filled it with lies. You filled it with another woman's perfume. You made it a place I couldn't breathe in anymore." "I know," he whispered, tears streaming down his face. "And I hate myself for it. I hate myself for hurting you. I hate myself for being so weak. But please, Sarah, don't give up on us. She looked at him, truly looked at him. The despair in his eyes was genuine, raw. It wasn't the smooth, deceptive John she had seen a week ago. This was a man broken, humbled. Why, John? Her voice was barely a whisper. Why did you do it? He swallowed, his gaze fixed on hers. I lost myself, Sarah. The pressure at work, the endless hours. I felt like I was drowning, and Chloe, she was new. She was exciting. She made me feel seen, important. I know it's no excuse. It's a pathetic excuse. I should have come to you. I should have talked to you, but I was a coward. His honesty, stark and painful, cut through her anger. It didn't erase the betrayal, but it offered a glimpse into the human frailty that had caused it. You should have, she agreed, her voice flat. You should have. Instead, you chose to lie, to betray me. And I will spend every day for the rest of my life trying to earn back your trust, he vowed, his voice thick with emotion. I'll go to therapy, I'll do whatever it takes. I'll quit my job if that's what it takes to remove any temptation. I'll tell everyone I know what I did. I'll live with the shame. Just, please, tell me there's a chance. Tell me you still see a future for us. The silence stretched, heavy with unspoken pain and lingering hope. Clara had quietly retreated, leaving them alone. Sarah felt a tremor run through her. The logical part of her screamed to walk away, to protect herself from further hurt. But the deeper, more ancient part, the part that remembered their first kiss, their shared dreams, the unwavering belief they once had in each other, yearned for something else. I don't know if I can ever trust you again, John, she said. The words a raw confession. The thought of it terrifies me. I know, he replied, his voice barely audible. And I don't expect you to, not now. But give me the chance to try. She looked away, out the window at the rain-washed streets, at the world moving on, oblivious to her internal struggle. The pain was still there, a dull throb, but beneath it, a tiny, fragile seed of something new had begun to sprout. Not forgiveness, not yet, but a flicker of possibility. Go home, John, she said, her voice soft but firm. I need time, a lot of time, and I need to see if you mean it, if this isn't just another performance. He nodded, his eyes still fixed on her, a glimmer of desperate hope replacing the pure despair. I'll wait, Sarah, as long as it takes. I'll do anything. She just watched him turn and walk out, the click of the door echoing the one from a week ago. But this time it felt different. Not an ending, but perhaps a pause. A painful, uncertain, terrifying pause. On the long, arduous road to a future she still couldn't quite see. The following months were a slow, agonizing process of rebuilding. John moved out, at Sarah's insistence, renting a small apartment across town. He started therapy, sending her weekly updates, not demanding a response, just informing her. He sent her flowers, not extravagant bouquets, but simple, thoughtful arrangements, each with a handwritten note expressing regret, understanding, and a quiet promise to do better. He volunteered at a local animal shelter, something they'd always talked about doing together. Sarah watched from a distance cautiously, painstakingly. She didn't respond to his calls or texts for weeks, needing the space, needing to process the chasm that had opened between them. She went to therapy herself, grappling with the betrayal, the shattered trust, the lingering pain. Her therapist helped her understand her own worth, her own boundaries, and the difference between forgiveness and reconciliation. One crisp autumn afternoon, almost 6 months after she had walked out, Sarah found herself outside John's small apartment building. The leaves on the trees were a riot of red and gold, a stark contrast to the barren landscape of her heart. She hadn't planned it. Her feet had just carried her there. She saw him through the window, sitting at a small table, reading. He looked thinner, the lines around his eyes deeper, but there was a quiet determination in his posture, a sense of solitude that resonated with her own. She took a deep breath, the cool air filling her lungs. Her heart hammered against her ribs, a frantic drum against the silence. She knocked. John opened the door, his eyes widening in surprise, then filling with an emotion so profound, it stole her breath. Sarah. Hi, John. Her voice was steady, a testament to the internal work she had done. He stepped aside, inviting her in with a silent gesture. The apartment was sparse, clean, smelling faintly of coffee and old books. I wasn't expecting you, he said, his voice a little shaky. I know. She looked around, her gaze lingering on a small framed photo on his bookshelf. A picture of them, laughing, on a beach vacation years ago. I needed to see you. He nodded, his hands clasped in front of him. A long silence stretched between them, filled with unspoken words, with the echoes of past pain and the faint stirrings of a fragile future. I've been doing a lot of thinking, Sarah began, her voice soft. About us, about what happened. He listened, his gaze unwavering, his expression a mixture of apprehension and hope. I'm still angry, John, she confessed, her voice thick with emotion. And I'm still hurt. The trust, it's not there, not like it was. He nodded slowly. I know, I don't expect it to be, not yet. I understand that. But, she continued, taking a tentative step closer, her eyes searching his, I also remember the man you were, the man I fell in love with. And I see you trying, really trying. A tear tracked down his cheek, but he didn't wipe it away. I am, Sarah, I really am, for you, for us, for myself. It's going to be incredibly hard, she warned, her voice barely a whisper. And it's going to take a long, long time, and there are no guarantees. He finally reached out, his hand hovering, not quite touching her. I know. I don't need guarantees. I need a chance to prove to you that I can be the man you deserve, the man I should have always been. She looked at his outstretched hand, then back into his eyes. The pain was still there, but so was something else, a flicker of hope, fragile but persistent, like a tiny flame in the vast darkness. Okay, John, she said, her voice trembling slightly. Okay. His hand finally found hers, his grip gentle, tentative yet firm. It wasn't a triumphant embrace, not a passionate reunion. It was a silent acknowledgement of the wreckage, and a shared, terrifying commitment to begin the painstaking work of rebuilding, brick by broken brick, a future that might, just might, be worth saving. The road ahead was long, fraught with uncertainty, but for the first time in a long time, Sarah felt a faint stirring of warmth in her heart. A tiny ember, ready to be rekindled.